Welcome back, everybody. This is Call Me Kinky here with another video. And today, this video will be a little different than typical videos that I do. So it's night. I am at home relaxing, drinking some tea. Ginger tea is one of my favorite teas. I wrote about why this is my favorite tea on my blog, so check that out after this video. And if you want to know about my hair, check out my last two videos and you'll see information about my hair. So this is going to be a story time video. I never really do story time videos. Lately I've been watching them and I like them, but I don't really do them. But I figured because I probably have a lot of female subscribers that this would be a relevant video to, help someone. So the moral of the story is you must be careful and you must be aware of your surroundings 24/7. So about 4 years ago, before I moved to New York, I was living in Texas, and I lived in a neighborhood that I really liked, and I did a lot of stuff in that particular neighborhood. So I grocery shopped in that neighborhood. I went to the bank in that neighborhood. Everything I did was in that neighborhood primarily. So one day, it's a weekday. Let's say it's a Wednesday or Thursday. I decide that I'm going. Actually, I think it was a Friday. Anyway, I decide that I needed to go to the bank. So the bank was right down the street from my house. I go to the bank and I'm sitting in the car, and right before I'm getting out, I see one man go in the bank and I see another man go in the bank. But what was odd about the second man was that he looked demonic. Like I don't know another way to explain it, but if you ever seen someone and you look at them and immediately you look at them and you're like, something's not right about that person. That's how I felt about him. I felt so weird about him in my spirit that I didn't even get out the car. I was like, forget that. I'm not going in the bank while he in the bank. Like, I don't know what he about to do, so I'm not going in the bank while he's in the bank. I literally sat in my car, wrote up my little deposit slip in the car, and waited for him to come out of the come out of the bank for me to then go in. And I left a part out that's also critical. Not only did he look demonic to me, when I looked up and just saw him walking into the bank right behind the other gentleman, he looked at me and the look he gave me was such a cold and evil stare that I was like, hell no. Like, no. So I wait for him to come out the bank. As soon as I see him come out and get in his car, and what I think he was parked down for me. I didn't remember at the time what his car looked like, but I know he exited the bank. I go in and I take care of my transaction and I'm done. But in that same plaza was the grocery store that I wanted to go to. So I literally left the bank. The bank is over here. And I drove to the grocery store that was literally opposite of the bank. But it was, just driving across the parking lot. So I go into the grocery store, and I know pretty much everybody, all the workers in there, because I literally shop there all the time. And I go to the front of the store, and I think I'm getting a money order or something that involved me being at customer service. So I'm at the front of the store. I'm not walking around grocery shopping. And who do I see come in? The same man. Now, that can be a coincidence because, yes, the bank is here. The grocery store is here. Maybe he was leaving the bank, coming to the store too. But in my spirit, I thought that was too suspicious. And another reason why I thought it was suspicious is because I watch people and I watch body language. I do. And I have a good gut system. Usually, whatever my spirit tells me, that's just the truth. So I listen to it. As soon as I saw him come in, he looked like shocked that I saw him. And I'm thinking to myself, if you ain't doing nothing wrong, why would you not want me to see you come into this store? So that already had me on alert because it looked like he came in and was trying to just ease in the store without me noticing him. Because when I looked at him, he had this shocked expression on his face and he immediately ducked off in the front of the store, which was not too far from where I was, and went into the bathroom. He turned the hallway real quick and went into the bathroom. So I'm like, okay, that's strange. When you first came in, you were walking straight. When you realized that I saw you and our eyes connected, you looked shocked. And then instead of you continually walking straight or continue to, go where you were going, you turn abruptly and duck off into the bathroom. I was like, oh, hell no. So I'm still standing at customer service in the line. He comes out of the bathroom. He doesn't grab a basket. He doesn't grab a cart. Okay, but you grocery shopping, but you ain't got no basket, no cart. Okay, cool. Maybe you buying something that doesn't require a basket or a cart. All right. So I'm watching him. He looks suspicious. He's like wondering. Then he walks to the produce section, but never ever picks up not one item. Never. Okay. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on him this entire time. And I called my ex-boyfriend. We were still very close at the time. And I called him and I was like, I really feel like this dude is following me. I saw him at the bank. And when I initially saw him, he just looked at me with such an evil look. And now all of a sudden I'm in the grocery store in the front. And he walks in a few minutes after me. And when our eyes lock, he looks surprised and like he's trying to hide or whatever. So my guy friend was like, you need to be careful. Like if you really think this dude is following you, you need to make sure that you let someone in the store know, and you might need to call the police because you just need to be safe rather than sorry. And this is daytime. This is not late at night, but still. Okay, so when I finally get to, when it's my turn in line, by then the man had exited the store and I saw him walk out. I get to the lady in line and I say, is your security officer on duty today? Because there's a lady that works security at the store that I used to always say hi to. She was a black woman. And I asked, was she there today? And they were like, yeah. I was like, well, I want to talk to her because I feel like there's a gentleman who's following me. And they were like, okay. So, and I said, I might need to call the police. So the security lady comes up and she asked me kind of what was going on. And what did the man look like? Do I know what kind of car he was driving? Stuff like that. So her tips to me were, let's walk outside and just see if we see him in the front of the store. And I didn't see him when I walked out with her. So she said, do not drive straight home. Because if he is following you, he could be anywhere in this parking lot. Because this is a parking lot where it was multiple businesses. She was like, if he is following you, he could be anywhere in this parking lot waiting for you to leave. And he may follow you home, so do not drive straight home. You need to go an alternative way. You need to do something else and see, whatever. But don't go straight home. So I was like, okay, cool. But something in my spirit, when I got in my car, and I was parked in the very front of this store, I didn't see this man anywhere. And I didn't remember what his car looked like because when he left out of the bank, I didn't pay attention to what vehicle he got into. I just realized he walked out, he walked down for me. So something in my spirit just is like, look, I feel like this man is in this freaking parking lot. You know how you feel like somebody's watching you? Maybe y'all don't know, but I promise you, I just felt it. So I get in my car and I decide I'm going to be Inspector Gadget. Like, I'm going to find him because I know he in his parking lot. So what I proceed to do is drive up and down rows. I drive down one row, come back down. Drive down another one. When I get to the end of the second row, guess who I see? Him. And he just sitting in the car looking. He not on his phone. He didn't buy no groceries, yet he came in Tom Thumb. Nothing. He is just sitting there. So I decided to park behind him in the row behind him, and I copied down his license plate number as well as the side of his vehicle had a business name on it. I copied that down. Literally, I grabbed paper and pen and wrote everything, every detail I could, and I wrote a quick description of him. Okay, so after that, my aunt happened to call me. And she's like, hey, are you in your neighborhood? Are you home? And I was like, yeah, auntie, I'm in my neighborhood. You won't believe what happened. I told her. So she was like, that's crazy. So I ended up telling her basically about what was happening and that I would be home soon, but I wasn't going to drive straight home. And she was like, okay, cool. So after I get this man's information and everything, this dude drives out of the parking lot while I'm still sitting there. And he turns out and goes right. So something, once again, in my spirit said, he playing with you. You need to sit in this parking lot. Because even if you pull out and you go the opposite direction to him, what if he comes back around the corner or something? Just wait and see. So I stayed in the parking lot for a few more minutes, and sure enough, this dude came out the parking lot, made a right, and made another right turn, which would have been taking him in the opposite direction of my home and where we were, that grocery store area. But guess what? In less than 5 minutes, I look back up and this dude done hit a U-turn and then came back toward where the parking lot is. The street that is running right in front of the parking lot. So I'm like, this dude is playing games. Because unless you just lost, there is no way you needed to come out and make a right and go down a whole nother street. I can't see you anymore. You're not in my line of vision because you're going toward a whole different area now. But then within the next 5 minutes, you happen to pop up and be back in the same area that we were in initially. That didn't make sense to me either. None of it was adding up. So I decided to not go home immediately. I ended up going home, but I ended up calling the non-emergency police number. And they asked me to come in and file a report. I went in, I filed a report, and I just said, he didn't do anything to me, but I really felt like he was watching me, and there were too many things that were suspicious. Why would he still be in the parking lot? He didn't buy anything. Why would he come into the store I'm in? Why did he look at me like that when I encountered him the first time in the bank parking lot? Why would he still be sitting in the parking lot when I leave the store? Even though I left out of the store a while after he left out of the store. Because he left out before I was even talking to the security guard. So at least 10 to 20 minutes had to transpire. Why is he still sitting in the parking lot? And he ain't parked close to the grocery store at all. He parked way far out in the parking lot. No, because you trying to hide. Like, you trying to not be seen. But I don't play them kind of games. I caught him. So I go file the report. And I give them the description of his vehicle and everything. And they told me that basically they were going to follow up with the information, but they couldn't disclose to me anything about him. It was against the law for them to disclose anything to me because he hadn't done anything to me. There had not been any action or communication between him and I or whatever. But to put the icing on the cake, the reason why I was also probably a little bit more paranoid was literally in my neighborhood. It was a relatively safe neighborhood with a lot of families, but also a lot of young single women. And literally there had been a gentleman going around following women home from grocery stores in the area. And when they would be grabbing their bags out of their vehicle, going into their apartment, he would force himself into their apartment. That had happened to several women in my same zip code. And the last incident was so bad that they were literally putting up alerts in apartment complexes. They were literally posting, the police department was literally posting signs in every freaking apartment area, basically saying, look, this is happening. This person has done this more than once. You need to be careful. When you come home, before you get out of your car, survey your surroundings. Don't come to your door with a whole lot of bags in your hand. Already have your key out and ready. As soon as you get in your door, lock the door. Don't go, and once you get inside, don't go back out to your car without locking your door, your front door, things like that. Because he had forced himself into more than one woman's home, and he was raping women. And I believe the report said he had a knife. Now, I'm not saying that was that same man. But in my heart, I feel like it was. Because he matched the description. He matched the description of that person. And it's funny how the brain works. Because when I first saw this man, I wasn't thinking none of that. I wasn't thinking like, oh, this could be the guy who's been going around raping women. Like, that didn't even cross my mind. The only thing that made me feel weird about him was the way he initially looked at me. He looked at me in a way that I haven't seen anyone look at me ever. And it was so scary that it just gave me like chills the way he was staring at me. And I'm like, I'm young, I'm petite, and I look much younger than what I really am. So for somebody who is hurting and raping women, I could easily be a target, especially as a young single woman living alone. All of those things, like I'm just to me, I was like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I filed the report. I never saw this man again, never saw his vehicle again when I was living in that area. Luckily, this happened the same week I was moving from one apartment complex to another. So even though I was staying in the same area, I also felt somewhat comfortable or more comfort knowing that even if he was to follow me, I'm not living in the same apartment for the long term. I'm already moving to another apartment in the next couple of days and stuff. But it was weird. So the moral of the story is just be cautious of your surroundings, because I don't know what would have happened had I not followed my gut. Had I not been more suspicious, had I not actually looked for this man in the parking lot. What if I just would have gotten my car and drove home? Thinking that, oh, he's not in this parking lot anymore. He left out of the store way before me. And the whole time he's far out in the parking lot watching me. And I get in my car and then I drive home and he trails me home and I don't even realize that this man has followed me home or to my next destination. So just be alert as a young woman, whether you're single or not, whether you're a mother or not. Be careful. Men, of course, be careful too, but I think women are usually more targets for that type of stuff, like kidnapping, raping, and brutality. Like men sometimes who are evil like that prey on women. So just be careful. Be careful. If you feel something in your spirit is not right, even if you don't have critical evidence or a real good rationale for it, follow your spirit. Like normally, if your spirit is telling you that something's not right, it's not right. And I don't regret the way I responded to it. I don't regret filing a police report because I at least wanted them to have the information. What if this was the guy tied to the rapes and beatings of these other women in my area? I'll never know. I won't necessarily know because they wouldn't, reveal anything to me. The police refused to give me any information on him. But they found out who he was based on his license plate number and the business logo on the side of his car. They found out who he was. They just didn't give me his name or any information. So anyway, be careful. Stay alert. Keep your head on a swivel, as my brother says. Always look around. It doesn't matter whether it's daytime, nighttime, whatever time. Just be on the lookout. Be cautious. Be aware. Be alert. So I hope you guys like this story time. It was true. It was a real story that happened to me about 4 years ago when I was living in Texas. So if you have any questions, leave them below. Check out my last video, which is a hair update. And until next time, peace, love, and prosperity. If you want to see more story times, also let me know that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Mwah. Till next time, remember to keep it kinky. Bye.